Getting the listing set up correctly is complicated, and if your listing is completely not retail ready, it could cost you a lot of money upfront, and especially when you're running advertising. I'm Vadim, the founder of PPC Jumpstart. In this video, I show you a few quick ways to verify if your listing is truly good enough to run advertising to become profitable quickly. Now, the examples here we are looking at is we will analyze the search query performance, we will look at the brand metrics, as well as I'll show you a quick few other ways how to use targeting tab in the Ads Manager to understand if your listing truly stands a chance. Now, before we even begin and I show you the ways how to figure out if your listing is good enough, now we need to understand what makes a good listing. So number one is images. You use all of the available images. You use the video component of your listing. You have a title that's written for SEO, the bullet points, the A+ content, etc. Now let me show you an example of the good listing. So I really like this product, TRX Growth Expansion Trainer. Now they have great images, and then the reason why I say they have great images is that you can see that there is very little text on these images. I've seen a lot of products and people just try to over-explain the features of the product, the material, the fabric, etc. Your images only need to convey the benefits that your product is bringing to a user, which is exactly what TRX is doing here. Every image is a benefit, a complete gym on the go, fast, fun, effective workouts, and then what it includes. And the benefit it's set up in seconds. Now the point I'm making here is that if you have images that have paragraphs and paragraphs of text, then your listing is not ready yet. Now this is a listing component, the video that you have here, showing the product and use title and bullet points. I really think that TRX has a lot to improve as far as their title and bullet point goes. I'll have a separate video recorded for SEO. And then other components of the retail ready listing is having about the brand content, the A+ content, etc. Now what I really also recommend you guys do, if you already have A+ content, your product description is still very much readable by Amazon. So I recommend you use all of the available keywords that you maybe did not have a chance to use in your title and bullet points, and you add all of this in your product description that has 25 characters. So it's a huge area to improve your SEO and rank your product on Amazon. Just be more visible. Now, let's say you have this listing set up, and let's talk about how can you actually verify this is good enough to start advertising. Now, what I really recommend is first you get the basics right. So retail ready, images, bullet points, about brand story, and A+ content. So now, once you have all of this and you have a competitive price, now we are going to put this to a test, and then from running short amount of advertising we can decide whether the listing is really an issue or some other things. So I'm going to give you the most basic way to verify it, and then we'll get deeper and deeper and decide, and sort of decide whether the listing is an issue or a particular component of the listing. The very first thing we are doing is just looking at the brand metrics. How does the brand compare to category? You run the advertising on what you think is a good listing for 1 to 2 weeks. Then you look how that compares to category, and it's very easy to do using brand metrics. And this part is going to be right in your Ads Manager under Insights and Planning and Brand Metrics. So by default, what you'll see here is something that looks like this, and you just need to click here and you click on View Detailed Metrics for your brand in this category. Make sure you have the accurate category selected, and then the number you are looking here is customer conversion rate. If this is something that's where your category median is 17% and you have a premium product, which is the case here, and it's 12%, it's not a big deal. But if you have a massive difference of 10% and more, now your listing already failed at the very first step, and there is definitely an issue with your offer. Now, as we start digging deeper, let's look at the more accurate data. So the next part of this test is targeting tab. So let's just check in overall. How does your listing convert on your most important keywords? In general, if you have the following price points, this will be the good conversion rates to get. So if your listing is under $10, you need to be at least 30% conversion rate. And if it's anything over $1,000, 1 to 3% conversion rate is good. Now, what I'm about to show you next is how to utilize the targeting tab in Ads Manager to determine whether your listing is good enough. Again, let's say you passed the first step, or whether you passed or failed, you can still complete the following steps to sort of decide where the gap is for your listing. Now you would go to Ads Manager, you would click Targeting tab right here, and then all we are going to do is we are filtering for any data that's sufficient. So what sufficient data means is at least 2 orders or more. Now we are looking at least 2 weeks of data, assuming you run your advertising for 2 weeks. And what I want to see here is that how is our conversion rate on our most important keywords. Obviously, I cannot share exact keywords I'm showing here, but I can already see that our conversion rate is good enough on our main keyword, on the other main keyword, which is really good, 10%, 13%, so this listing passes this test. Now, if you filter for your important keywords here and you run your advertising and you're selling a product for $20 and you're getting conversion of like 5%, now the issue is with the listing. I also want to emphasize that this conversion rate under targeting tab only tells half of the story. And what I mean by this is that your campaigns, they will convert on different placements now. To see, you would click on bid adjustments, and hopefully, if you watched my other videos, you ended up creating campaigns following the single keyword campaigns structure. Actually lets you accurately analyze the issues. The conversion rates I mentioned earlier, that only applies to top of search and rest of search placements on Amazon, because anything on product pages typically does not convert very well. So assuming you've set up your campaigns the correct way, you just want to make sure that most of your traffic is coming from these two placements. And in any case, if you're getting most of your clicks from product pages, of course your data is going to be skewed towards lower conversion rate. So just keeping that in mind. So you've used the brand metrics to determine the overall health of your listing, and before that you set up what's supposed to be a good listing. You've used the targeting tab to just look at the individual keywords and determine if you have a good enough conversion rate. Now, let's say whether you pass this test or not, you just want to understand better where is the issue with your listing. Is it with the image? Is it with your pricing? Are people not adding your listing to the cart? Are people not clicking on this? That is easy to do following the search query performance report. I don't intend to make this video specifically for this report, also there is a lot to talk about. But let's talk about this report, and it's going to tell us a lot of things that we need to know. To get to this report, you would click to brand analytics, search analytics, and search query performance. You would specifically select a specific case in here. For the purpose of this example, let's just look at the monthly data. What we're seeing here is a funnel, and it's a keyword funnel. Did people find your listing interesting by clicking on it? Did people find your listing by adding it to cart? Were people compelled enough to purchase it? This is what all the information we can get on this in this search query performance report. Speaking of conversion rates, there is an easy way to determine that on a keyword level. All you need to do is use search funnel purchases ASIN count, which is your open orders. This divided by your open clicks, which will be in this column right here, and then you compare that to the market conversion rate, which will be total count of purchases divided by total count of clicks under the whole market. If you want to be even more accurate, you could subtract your own clicks and orders from these numbers. Now, this is a way to determine your conversion rate on specific keywords. Say you have a very bad conversion rate, it's 5% conversion rate, and you're like wondering, what do I need to fix on my listing? This is where this search query performance report comes very handy. What you're able to see here is a funnel, and this is how to compare this. You're looking at the comparable ASIN share numbers under the specific products. For example, ASIN share under impressions is 5.1% and ASIN share under clicks is 84%. It means people are much more likely to hit your to click your products under the specific keyword. And this is by no mistake. This ASIN share is so high, by the way. I'm not sharing the keywords here, but this is a branded keyword. So of course the people are more likely to click on the listing, they are more likely to buy it. So you can see this ASIN share increases step by step. Now these are like golden keywords you should really advertise on. Now let's look at the normal keyword that's relevant to us. It's not branded and there is enough and it's basically the important keyword that we're advertising on. For example, looking at this ASIN share from impressions to clicks, if it's equal, meaning we are equally good in the niche, people click other listings in the same way they click our listing, other listing versus our listing, it's equally good judging by the search results. So whatever shows up, the short title, the first image, the price, that part is equally good. Now, once we look at change in ASIN share from clicks to cart ads, we see that there is a decrease, so that means your offer is not strong enough. In this particular case, this brand is a premium product and obviously the pricing here is higher and we are expecting to see this sort of drop off. It's expected to see this drop off as well going towards purchases. I'm just going to jump to brand view here just to get more data, because notice some of these keywords they don't get enough data. Now let's look at these particular examples. Overall for this brand and for this important keyword, which is non-branded by the way, brand share from impressions to clicks is lower. So it's because of our premium pricing. The clicks to cart to ads is almost the same, also slightly lower, and then the cart to ads purchases is higher, meaning that people are less likely to click on it and add to cart, but once they are adding it to cart, they are more likely to buy the product versus other products. And this is like the way you can figure out where the issues are. And number one, is it the click issue, is it the cart to add issue, or is it purchase? And by following this kind of system, you can you can accurately determine whether your listing is even good enough to be continuing running advertising, or you need to pause your advertising and focus on improving your listing. To recap this video, focus on getting your listing retail ready. Images, bullet points about the brand story, A+ content and competitive pricing. Gets initial amount of reviews. I recommend using 1 reviews, something I have not mentioned in this video, by at least 15 to 20 to start. And by then you have your advertising running for 1 to 2 weeks and you start to look at the different steps. Brand metrics for the overall view of the niche, targeting tab for determining competitiveness on particular keywords, and then search query performance for diving deeper and seeing where the drop off is in your funnel, image, offer, pricing, etc.